what's the next 5 varsham for 361?
I don't think this industry will go anywhere till we get 100 crore investors. We have 150 crore population. Why can't we have 100 crore investors? Say compared to a large cap where you're like, let's say, driving a car on a very well paved road, this will have its own series of jerks, right? And many investors sometimes on the jerk a deal panna the customer. Who want the transparency, the regulation, the comfort of a mutual fund, but they want this to do slightly better than a regular mutual fund. I think this is a brilliant thought process by a regulator, right? This is so they figured out that I think the mutual fund industry obviously is growing at its pace. So you do your job well. You do such a fantastic job that your boss or your customer gives you double your income, and you take that double income and save double of what you were saving, and do this asset allocation formula. You will be a happy person.
Title sponsor, CAL's Renewable Energy. Building tomorrow with clean energy. Call 9344 62680.
361, there are a lot of things that you do apart from asset management, right? So what are those, like PMS நிறைய இருக்கு?
இல்ல.
So இதெல்லாம் உங்க
So 361 wealth and asset management is called, if you go and type 361, one is it's a very unique name because I don't think it's a unique name and a unique company.
Right.
And this is possibly the only company which has a wealth and asset business in the same house. We are a wealth-led asset management company. Most companies are standalone asset management companies. Yeah. So this company has 3 divisions. The biggest division and the oldest division is our wealth management division. They basically look at rather the top, they are the largest, possibly amongst the largest franchisee wealth companies in the country today. We manage or we advise assets in value of more than 7 lakh crores as a total company. Wealth obviously is the biggest. Asset management la rendu vertical irukku, which is basically your listed business, which is the AMC, which I am the CEO, and there is the unlisted business, which I spoke about, private equity, private credit, real assets, which is your REITs, InvITs, and then now this year we hope to start something in renewables. So that's called 361 alternate asset business. In the rendu company say this comes as asset. So this is called 361 asset. In the rendu company asset base is roughly about 1 lakh crores. Okay. And the ambition is to triple it as quickly as possible, because there is a lot of demand and there's a lot of appetite, as I said, especially on the alternate side. There is a lot of demand from individual investors, institutional investors to put money. And I think the beauty how we run it across is that I look after the day-to-day business, the compliance, the risk, but we have got one very interesting thing we do here is that we are all part of the 361 group, right? So my ability to get top quality people is very, very high. Even though as an asset company I may not be very large, but because we have this whole umbrella of wealth, asset management and capital markets, which is our most recent company, I think Batliwala and Karani Securities, which is a very, very, I think it's a 100-year plus firm, they merged into 361. So they have got renamed as 361 Capital. They are possibly amongst the largest coverage of small and mid cap companies in India. I mean, they cover, I think, close to 350 companies, of which more than 250 are the large, small and mid-cap space. So it really ties in very, very well. Also, we have a very strong promoter ecosystem here. We have a very strong asset management ecosystem here, and we have a very strong research and equity ecosystem here. So in this business, obviously, now we are putting some investment banking, we are putting some mergers and acquisitions. So all of this ties in. So in the FD Vardhana, this whole thing exists to serve one person, which is what the name is. This whole 360, I call all these 3 are 360, that one is the customer. So this whole umbrella, or whatever you would like to call it, just exists to serve that one person. In my case, I have 2 customers. I have the customer who's my investor, who's very important to me. I also have the customer who's my partner. A lot of our business comes through partners. I don't, except the institutional side where Anga, they deal with us directly, but in the retail side and even in the UHNI side, because I am a single product company. I believe I have very good products, but customer also wants diversification. So he will put money into various things. The best way to advise or to guide is through a financial partner. So I have two customers. Now in this asset business, I have all the platforms. So we've got our mutual fund, we've got PMS, we've got AIFs, both on the CAT 3 means listed and CAT 2 is unlisted. So both CAT 3, CAT 2 comes. We've got Gift City now, we've just got our in principle approval. And lastly, we've got our specialized investment funds.
I was going to go for that, SIFs.
SIF. So we would be possibly among the first 10 companies to launch. We launched it in February.
Yes.
It's a good start. I'm happy. I mean, we are now close to 470, 500 crores of. I mean, I think that business can really take off because it's actually the mutual fund business is now for first time businesses. But if you want something a little more, and that's one category which can actually make money also for you or actually protect you when markets are falling.
But அதை பத்தி எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்களேன். So I also read a lot of article where you're strategically pushing for SIF more, and the number says it also. Now, last 2-3 months they've already
we
done
started
a few
in end of
crores.
Feb. So we were so a lot of my so people have this slight disbelief rather. They feel that they have to protect panno. So there are two schools. There's one school which thinks that SIFs are very risky because they use derivatives. There's one school which says that SIFs are too safe, that you will always never have a great outcome vis-a-vis a mutual fund or equity.
But how does that work?
So
new comes, there will be resistance.
so one thing is very sure. So I think this is a brilliant thought process by a regulator, right? This is so they figured out that I think the mutual fund industry obviously is growing at its pace, but there are a set now of sophisticated investors who want the transparency, the regulation, the comfort of a mutual fund, but they want this to do slightly better than a regular mutual fund. And obviously, mutual funds are now really meant for core retail customers, right? Of course, I also have a lot of money in mutual funds, but if I were to look at starting my investment journey today with my level of corpus, I would definitely add SIFs. So it's for people who've been investing already. So one thing, so people who should not invest in SIFs are first-time investors. Very clearly, because at least in the equity schemes, maybe there are three categories. There's equity, there's hybrid, and there's debt. Debt, yaro launch manla hybrid people have launched. So somebody wants to get into a hybrid scheme, first time investor, because risk reward is easier. In fact, there's a risk band in SEBI has made a very nice and easy identification. One is the safest, fifth is the riskiest. So let's say we are now in the, I think day after tomorrow we launch our third product in this category. It is a risk band 5. It's what I call an X top 100, means 65% of the market will be, or the investments will be in stock number 101 to plus. So obviously mid cap, small cap, micro cap, so konja risky. So that's obviously then you need to have a little dive band. So coming back to your original point, I think SIFs give you all this, but they also give you some sophistication on investment techniques. You're allowed to short up to 25% of your portfolio. So 0 to 25. So it's not compulsory that you have to short. But you can make money now technically by shorting overvalued stocks, maybe poorly governed stocks, maybe out of flavor stocks, and there's many of them they come. India is a very diverse market. You can use derivatives in a much more efficient way, in a much more longer way to protect the downside. That also gives you some ability to make the investment journey slightly smoother. And that's a big advantage in X top 100 at least. Mid cap, small cap, yes, overall, if you keep money for a long period, the outcomes are very good, but that journey can be very bumpy. It's say compared to a large cap where you're like, let's say, driving a car on a very well paved road, this will have its own series of jerks, right? And many investors sometimes on the jerk a deal panna the custom. So then they tend to get off. So what this does with these sophisticated techniques, with this ability, is to try and smoothen that journey. It's an attempt to smoothen it, right? So that way it's I think it's done for us. It's a great category. Okay. But yes, you have to invest starting 10 lakh rupees per individual PAN. It has to be 10 lakhs, right? It's not the 100 rupees of mutual fund. So as I said very clearly, regulator said this is for a more knowledgeable investor. Number two, if you quicker to go, you need to have a separate certification. Right. Just because I am a mutual fund distributor or I have a license, I cannot just MFT and I can't. I have to. There is a separate exam, NISM 13. It's not an easy exam. It's difficult. You have to study for it. You have to understand it. And the end in that, then obviously I think it's a great category to look at. So, but coming to your original question, yeah, I look at the day-to-day business. I am very blessed that we have a very great team of fund management professionals across all these 5 verticals. Right, each vertical is headed by a super professional. Like the guy who sits on the listed company with me is Anup. Anup Maheshwari has been in markets for 30 years. Right, so I think he's seen so many cycles up and down. He's very conscious of risk. He's very conscious of governance, and that also allows us to get a lot of what we call offshore mandates.
Right.
So if you are an international investor, you want to put money into India in a active fund management system. One way is to try to do it yourself. One way is to try and find experts who will do it for you. So that we've had some success there. And so that's the listed side. In the unlisted side, I have a senior colleague called Samir Nath who runs a very large private equity investment team, all the way from early stage to late stage and verticalization. So 30 plus professionals. Private credit, we have a senior colleague called Akash Desai, again 20 years plus in the business. He's supported by a 17-member team. Raised a lot of money, returned a lot of money back. Real Assets is headed by another senior guy called Deepak. He's got 20 years experience. And then now we've got another gentleman called Preetham who looks after our renewables business. Who used to run his own renewables business earlier. Now he's going to be a CIO for that business. So we are a little forward thinking in that. And then we've got all the platforms below. So if you want offshore money to come, you can get it through GIFT. You can get it. We have a ability to take it in Singapore. We have an ability to take US money, and of course domestic money. Of course I said, and then you have SIF for, and then you have PMS for the 50 lakh investor, and AIF for the really UHNI 1 crore plus. And mutual funds is, I think, for everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
எனக்கு இந்த மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸில் தான் சார் ஒரு கொஷன். ஸோ நவ் இந்த ஜியோ பாலிட்டிக்ஸில் எவ்ரிபடி ஹேஸ் அன் ஒப்பீனியன் அண்ட் பர்டிகுலர்லி இந்த இன்ஸ்டாகிராம் நிறைய பேர் நிறைய விஷயம் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ த வே வி லுக் அட் ட்ரேடிங், த வே வி ஆர் கோயிங் டு லுக் அட் கோல்ட் இஸ் கன்சிடர்ட் as a primary currency, அது எல்லாமே மாறப்போகுதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் மெனி பீப்புள் சே தட் ப்ராப்ளி மியூச்சுவல் ஃபண்ட்ஸ் 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு இருக்குமானே தெரியாது, அதுவே மாறிடும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி. நவ் எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் அன் எக்ஸ்பர்ட் as I said. So you being the real expert,
let me make one thing clear. I'm not rather an expert in that. I'm just in this business for 30 years. That's all. In this business, it gives me little more experience. That's all. So compared to someone like you who is much younger, I have a little more experience and I have lots more gray hair. Right? That's all. I don't think mutual funds are going anywhere. I think all the work that we have done, people like me, much smarter than me, more hardworking than me, all of us put together have got less than 7 crore unique investors in mutual funds. Recent, there was a crypto exchange which started. I'm forgetting the name. They got, I think, in matter of 2 years or 1.5 years, they got excess of 15 crore investors. At least they claim to have got. I don't know. I've not seen the data, but we have. So I think we have a lot of work to do to get retail India to invest. And there is yet a mindset issue. When you go into tier 3, tier 4 towns, poor people like hard assets. People are very happy. Like I was talking about my South experience, predictability is very important. Touch feel is very important. இந்த எண்ணெயா ஒரு பேப்பர் கொடுத்துருக்கேன், அது ஏதோ யூனிட் இருக்கு, இந்த யூனிட் மேலே போகிறது என்ன, we don't know. And I think AMFI has done a wonderful job. I mean, this mutual fund sahi hai campaign, doing it with cricketers, doing it with local people, doing it with regular investors, doing it in different languages. It has really helped. And they will continue to do much more of it because I think they've got that process absolutely. It's a 10 on 10. So I think you have to do it daily. I don't think this industry will go anywhere till we get 100 crore investors. We have 150 crore population. Why can't we have 100 crore investors? So mutual funds are absolutely fine. But yes, there are a lot of people who have done mutual funds for a long time who are looking at new things to do. That's where things like all the other investment options work, which is your private equity, private credit, SIF, PMS, AIF, அதெல்லாம் அங்க வருது. And I think as India gets more and more rich, this migration will keep happening. So there will be mutual funds, but maybe incremental allocations of a rich person may go towards other things. But to fill that gap, there is enough of new investors coming in who will come. And so far the data seems to be in our favor. I mean, we've seen 2 years of huge volatility. Returns in many indexes are flat to negative. especially on a 2.5 year basis. But if SIP flow continue and so I think that shows maturity of investor. Minal ennago 3 months negative return aaytuna people will start panicking. Ipo ulta aayirudhu enakku. If market falls, in fact, I've switched my phone off, but let's say market has fallen today. Ninge varthik minal it was down some 200-300 points. But if it falls more, I know today end of day I'll get new money.
People are ready to wait.
People are ready to wait and invest. They are now putting money to work at a level they feel comfortable.
Correct.
Minale, they will take out at the bottom and invest at the top. So that education is happening. That's thanks to people like Magic 20, right? And people like you. You're doing so many great podcasts and people are watching this. So that's the other beauty of India, right? I think everyone has his own personal TV. The challenge with having your own personal TV is that a lot of the data is not, you're not sure whether it's 100 on 100. Then the second thing which is happening now is Chat GPT and, Claude and all the other things. So, people are getting wrong conclusions.
Correct.
And they're not bothering to verify. And the Chat GPT is 100% accurate. That's not correct. And I know it needs a level of, because it's trying to solve your question problem. It's not verifying the data. So in fact, if you see nowadays, they've started putting a line below that please verify your data, please, like number mutual fund mutual funds are subject to market
Yes,
risk.
market
India, they keep putting that line. I don't know how many people do it.
Yeah.
The third thing, of course, is like you said, Instagram, Reels, very popular. Nothing wrong in that. I think it's great to have an opinion. It's great to have followers. It's great to it's like your own personal TV, right? 30 years back, Doordarshan da endide. So I knew Sunday evening, 6 o'clock, some Hindi movie will play. You could be in Chennai and you may not want to watch a Hindi movie, but I want a choice illa.
Yeah.
Or you could be in Bombay and you could say, in the picture pidikla, but you have no choice.
Yeah.
Today, if we have gone in 30 years from no choice to excessive choice, way too much choice. So, so that has given rise to a lot of to some confusion, and all these questions are coming over there. And I think the more exaggerated statement in panna, jasti viewership kadikade.
Correct.
I come and tell you, Radha, I think 10 varshal mutual fund industry will die.
Then
You will put one headline in Magic 20, Raghav Iyengar says music fund industry will die, and you will get maybe 10x of the views that you will get. Then suppose somewhere in the interview I'll say it may die because of something, but nobody is getting into the, they're just seeing the headline. That's very, very important, because see, India is a difficult place to earn money. It's not easy. Whatever people might say, that young people today also have a lot of pressure to get a job, they have a lot of pressure to save, they have a lot of pressure to also manage their financial goals. So in the matter of real wheel ella paathe, don't take the wrong financial decision, and it is okay, nothing will happen. My experience says that there are enough opportunities and times to invest. So market ke padtu, I didn't invest, don't worry. These are all, you will have time. Patience is your biggest friend, keep him or her next to you.
ஸோ இப்போது நான் முதல்ல ரிசெஷனுங்கிற ஒரு பாயிண்ட் நம்ம கேட்கும்போது நம்ம ரிசெஷனில் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னீங்க. பட் அதோட அர்த்தம் என்னென்னா, ஒரு லேமனாக நான் பார்க்கும்போது ஒரு 2 இயர்ஸ் முன்னாடி வரைக்கும் இவ்வளோ டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் இல்லை ப்ரைஸிங் கரன்சிஸ்லலாம். இப்போ USD டு இது வந்து ஆல்மோஸ்ட் we are losing money every single டேங்கிற மாதிரி தான் தோன்றுது. ஃபார் பீப்புள் who are selling to the US, they are happy, right? பட் டொமஸ்டிக்காக இம்போர்ட் வந்து அதிகமாக இருக்கும்போது இட் இஸ் வெரி ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் தான். அண்ட் ப்ரைஸஸும் இன்ஃப்ளேஷன் ஆகிட்டே இருக்குது. ஸோ எவ்ரி டைம் ஒரு ரிசெஷன் மாதிரி வரும்போதெல்லாம் நமக்கு எப்படி ஒரு ரிசெஷன் வருதுன்னு தெரியும். ப்ரைஸ் ஏறினா ஓகே சம்திங் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங்கிற மாதிரி தான் நமக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ நமக்கு ப்ரைஸும் அங்கேயே இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிட்டே போகுது, இந்த இஷ்யூஸும் வந்துட்டே இருக்குது. ஸோ வாட் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங் அரவுண்ட் அஸ்?
No, so this is a classic shock, rather, after 2-3 years of calm. Actually, we've been living in a volatile world for the last actually 10 years. It's not something which has happened. Ippo konja volatility jaasti aayithu. So let me take you back to a little earlier in time, right? 2000, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 was demon.
Yeah.
That was a shock. 17-18 GST happened. 17 la GST vandide. I won't say it was a shock, but it was a rebooting. And the whole way of paying tax went through a very big change, and it created its own level of stress, A lot of things which are not getting disclosed or getting disclosed, a lot of IT issues. You remember,
Yes.
and not too long ago for people to forget, right? 2018 was the NBFC crisis. 2020 was our number pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And pandemic, people say report 2020, but my view is 2020 was not too bad. If market fell, 21, 22 were actually really bad
Really
years.
bad years.
21 to my mind was a really bad year. 2020 it didn't affect
impacted.
urban population much. 2021 it really affected the urban population.
Yeah.
You understand? Ipo and I, in the last 5 years, we have had no great movement, right? We've had no great movement at all on prices have been quite stable, rupee has been stable,
Yeah.
inflation has been benign. Other people have sort of got lulled into a sense of false security. Because financial markets are always going to be dynamic. And India is now, whether we like it or not, completely integrated into the global system.
Yeah.
A lot of our software it goes abroad. That's our biggest economy. Our two biggest imports are unfortunately things in our country
Correct.
in the quantity that we want.
Yeah.
And the rendana oil and gold.
Yeah.
And that keeps going up and down. That keeps putting its own pressure on various things. So I think what has happened is in the Moon Nal Varsha, things have been very quiet. People have made money. They've got into a bit of a complacent way. Everything is going well. I mean, government also said we'll become 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 30 trillion. All these headlines were coming. I think there was a bit of a jolt in 2022. Ukraine-Russia war at the time. But this war is very far away from us. So it did, if you remember, it did create some number konjo kasta initially. Like, vegetable oil exports prices went up.
Correct.
For food grain prices went up. And Ukraine produces a lot of the wheat in the world. And then the whole sanctions problem happened. So you couldn't buy oil from here. You had to go here, all that. So if you remember, Moon Nal once Masa, it was a little troublesome. And then again, it picked up again. So people said, oh, this is a 5-6 month problem. This is a little closer to home. And like you rightly said, this has slightly deeper consequences than the Ukraine war. Because unfortunately, 80% of our energy gets imported. And a lot of it comes from the Middle East. The good thing is that there is a lot of oil available in other parts of the world. If you remember, 50 ವರ್ಷ ಮುನ್ನಾಲೆ ಪಾತ, a lot of the oil in the world was only available in the Middle East. Today you have Russia, you have Venezuela, you have US, you have Africa. So there are these spots where oil is available. Gas now, for example, you have new countries which are able to give you substitute. Oman is now substituting Qatar as from a gas supply perspective. So I think this problem, to my mind, is a temporary problem. I don't know when this will get over because every day news flow change. And last week it was looking like something was happening. In the week things are not happening. But ultimately I think it is in nobody's interest to have a very deep war. So I think I'm an optimist by nature. So I believe that this will get settled quickly. When it gets settled, a lot of problems which are hitting India today, like you rightly said, high interest rates, high crude, high currency, all that hopefully will reduce a bit. And so if I am actually at this time I'm much more positive on Indian capital markets today than maybe 3 years back because valuation has become a bit sensible. Now, of course, if you're a doomsday person and you say, "Nay, I think this war will continue for 3 years and oil will go to 200, adako or product irke. There is enough of predictable return products available to handle that type of investor. There are products available to handle people like me who believe that this whole thing is konja temporary. So, ipo konja invest panna 3, 4, 5 years, you will hopefully make a good return. And I think today a lot of people yet believe in what my thinking is. So that's why SIP flows are continuing. Equity flows are reasonably okay. You will see negative headlines. Like I said in the beginning, show viewership you need to be more negative than positive. And nobody wants to come and tell you that it takes now 30 minutes from Chennai airport to Mount Road by metro. That's great news.
Yeah.
ಅದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ಮುನ್ನಾಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ and I think it's a fantastic thing that the government has done there and they're maintaining it very well. And or in Bombay, I remember I used to work, when I started I used to work in South Bombay, live in North Bombay. Car la pona 1.5 மணி நேரம் ஆகும். Today, thanks to that undersea tunnel, I can reach in 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to talk about that. They all want to talk about high interest rates, 95 rupees, 100 rupees. Negativity sells. But I have a very simple formula here. I think every person has their own unique asset allocation model. For me, that's old formula la ipo vittu. People would say 100 minus your age should be your equity allocation. So if you're a 30-year-old person, then you should have 70%. I think to my mind, it's a good template, but it has to be individualistic. If you're a 30-year-old person having a car loan and a housing loan and a family to support, your risk tolerance is not going to be high. Whereas if I am a 70-year-old person, I have no needs to financial needs to satisfy, and my money is going to go to my next generation. I can be 70% invested in equities. So best way to do it is to either, you know, keep watching things like what you're doing, Magic 20, and then write down things what you're doing. Put your asset allocation correct. How much do you want in real estate? How much do you want in gold? How much do you want in equity? How much do you want in predictable assets? Put that formula into place, and there are ways to do it. Adjust that, and every year review it. So when equity becomes very cheap, something else should have become expensive, right? So maybe you transfer, sell that, put some, top it up. Vice versa. 2023, the market was very high. I stopped allocating to equities. In fact, I took some money out of equities and put it into other things. Silver was very cheap in those days, much cheaper than what it was today. So I put some money into silver. So it's okay. So your overall number should be fine. Now, of course, idla or problem na, you will never be a hero. You will be a all-rounder, but you will not be a great batter. Or if you are the type of person who wants to have the highest return, then this formula doesn't work. Then you have to be much more active, and you need to be much more. So again, depends on what type of investor you are. So I'm very happy with this. My base rate is like, if I'm getting in a bank is giving me 7.5%. If I make 11-12%, I think bank deposit plus 50, 60, 70%, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. But there are some people who say, no, I want a Yannick or 20% return. Then you have to have a different formula. Then your risk is also higher. Of course, your returns are also higher. So you have to balance that out. That's very important. And don't worry about it. I think today I have simple formula that unless you are an investment management guy, like let's say Anup Maheshwari is, or Samir Nath is, then you have to be worried about all the things that you're saying. That what will happen to market, what will happen to crude, but here you are given money to a third party. Let him or her worry. No, so you do your job well. You do such a fantastic job that your boss or your customer gives you double your income, and you take that double income and save double of what you were saving, and do this asset allocation formula. You will be a happy person.
Amazing. Amazing. I was going to ask for this money advice. Neengle samarpantinga. Thank you so much. So what's the next 5 varsham for 361?
So we have a lot of work to do. As I said, we are 100,000 crore AMC right now. I think that can safely triple in easily. And I think we have a lot of work to do on private capital. We have a lot of work to do on SIFs. I have a lot of work to do on listed equity. We have a brilliant set of people managing that whole franchise, but I think we have much less money than what we deserve there. So, enakku romba well irukku.
Lovely. Books you suggest?
I'm going through various books. I'm actually more a fiction guy. So I'm very happy to read my Harry Potters again.
Oh,
and again.
lovely.
Yeah, so it gets me, takes me back, and my kids really love it. Of course, they're not kids anymore, but it gives me a topic of conversation with them.
Very nice.
And of course, I'm reading this very interesting book now called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Brilliant book. I think it's not about investing. It's about a lot of things in life. That's about it. And I keep listening to a lot of podcasts. So that's the other thing I manage, because a job to travel konja jasti. But so you can either crib about it. Ayyo, ivlo travel pandome, ivlo car la porome, ivlo plane la porome. Or you look at it the other way. I find airports and railway stations to be fascinating places to observe people. And if you have a nice book which you're listening to, I think it makes that journey much, much more enjoyable.
Thank you so much, sir. I think
Thank you, Radha.
questions என்னோட notes அதிகமா இருக்கு.
That's not. I hope I'm not making you study very hard. That's all. That is not the intention.
I'm learning a lot because for me this is a very great opportunity. எனக்கு உங்க நடுவுல பேசும்போது I am able to grasp a lot of leadership style of yours. right?
Okay, that'll
I
be
love the
interesting.
way நீங்க ஒருத்தர் பேரையும் மென்ஷன் பண்ணி அவங்க என்ன பண்றாங்க, அவங்க டீம் என்ன இருக்கு, what are they responsible for. Not many people do that, right? எனக்கு அது ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்தது உங்ககிட்ட. I think I want to learn that from you. And நீங்க அந்த SCDV சொன்னதும், can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
SCDV.
So SEDB is
Yeah.
our equity framework.
Huh.
So basically, நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம், BSE 500 is broadly the universe of companies that most public managers like to put money into, right? Of course, there is a world that exists beyond that, but a lot of the investments, இங்க பார்த்தா 90-95% இங்க தான் போகும். அதில் we have categorized SEDB na, we call a company a secular company. If in the last 6 out of 10 years, it has given you a 15% ROE, that is return on your equity, and it's given you 15% profit after tax growth.
Okay.
So if it qualifies under both, we call it a secular. If it qualifies only in PAT growth, but doesn't give you 15% ROE, then we call it cyclical. If it gives you 15% ROE, but not 15% PAT, then we call it defensive.
Okay.
And companies which don't qualify in both are called value traps.
Okay.
Now the interesting statistic is about 30% of the BSE 500 companies come in value traps today. But so you cannot ignore it, because Angada you get a lot of turnaround stories, a lot of emerging stories. Like if you ignore, let's say hypothetically on the value trap ignore panna, you would not be able to get into any defense. A lot of the defense, a lot of the PSU stories are coming from there. They are all fantastic stories. It's just that maybe they need some catalyst and then they go. So our set covers all of this. So we are not saying that, yeah, of course, as a ideal portfolio, I will be more S and less V. And between cyclical and defensives, we will keep rotating depending on the market situation.
Lovely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Super.
much.
Super.